I thought I could read the signs. You were sending up flares, red and gold everywhere. I remember my hands, thinking I had a chance, reaching out for a dance in the fiery air. Now I can't afford the cost of this living. Your love was a luxury you took from me. This poverty has made me so broken. The debt of this loss, too heavy to mention. Now I can't afford the cost of living if you don't pay me your attention. I don't know what grows from these tears that hit the ground. No shoulder to cry on, no comfort in the sound. Now I can't afford the cost of this living. Your love was a luxury you took from me. This poverty has made me so broken.
Very topical song.
This loss,
Said I can't afford the cost of this living.
Yeah. Those damn tariffs.
That's exactly what it is.
Terror speak.
Okay, I have an answer for you, Andrew. I very excitedly have an answer for you.
Yeah.
Since everything's together going hard, much harder than they went for the company's 100th, which is wild. Wait, I'm sorry. There's 70th, and they're doing it harder than for the 100th. They've gone back 30 years. What happened?
Yeah.
I don't know how to read this comment,
The
Jedi.
company is 100 years old.
Okay.
Disney,
So
Okay,
Disney
okay.
100,
the theme
and this
park
is
is
Disneyland.
70 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting it.
That helps me. That helps me a lot. I'm going to talk. Wait. LifeACG.com. I need to pull up over here. I'm going to really flex my IFACG. Look this up.
I still hear the music.
Yeah. He's keeping it. He's keeping
Hey,
it
that's
low.
for you. I'm
keeping
doing
it
that for you. You're
Just
welcome.
making sure.
Have you seen the music video for Last Dance with Mary Jane?
I don't think I have.
Mr. Snoopus Doggus? It's
What? Snoopus Doggus? Is that his
Well, Snoop-
Latin?
It's his Latin name, yeah.
It's his Latin name. I saw it posted on YouTube like 5 days ago. I don't actually know how new it is, but I checked it out last night. Art style is crazy in like a really cool way. It almost completely looks like it's AI generated. I'm going to assume it's not, but you should just pull up the video and just like scrub in like 45 seconds or something and just like look at the art style.
Am I to have seen where you texted that to me?
I haven't texted you anything yet.
Okay.
Oh,
what are you talking about? So that I can
found this.
finish this.
Last Dance with Mary Jane.
That's what you're
featuring
talking
Tom.
about?
No, not tonight.
Mother-
I'm talking about it right now.
Tell me what you're talking about tonight so I can write it in the script.
Okay. I'm talking about Chris Hytha, Hytha. And it's kind of an extension of his book called Row Homes. But I'm actually going to be talking about his, well, I'll talk about it tonight.
Chris Hytha?
So, Chris Hytha.
Chris Hytha. Chris Hytha.
But here, I'll throw it in. Can I throw it in private chat? Here,
doesn't
this
matter.
is
I've got it.
his. That's the book I'm going to be referencing. But you should go look up Last Dance with Mary Jane and watch some of that music video real quick.
Just right now, while we're still getting our show ready.
You
'cause
could. I mean,
we're so prepared today.
I'm ready to go.
I'll probably see it.
Hello, people that are here. Hello. Andrew did get it. That's correct. Okay.
What did I get?
Scytha.
Did you hear the Disney Dish shout me out in the episode from last week? I did not hear that. I haven't listened to last week's episode. I'm excited to hear it, though.
Have you been following this 70th stuff, Andrew?
Yeah.
Do you
No,
like it?
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, like,
or like,
what?
is there stuff you want to get? I guess, like, because that's.
Oh,
like,
yeah. There's several things that I
Yeah.
would love to get. Yeah.
This season of Game Changers is great. I know that's not what we were talking about.
I haven't seen
But
episode 3
I can't
yet,
wait for the
so-
new one tonight.
Oh, that's a good reminder for me as
Is
well.
episode tonight's episode 3?
4?
So I missed episode 3.
yes.
I'm trying to remember.
Is
It
episode
was-
3 having to do with like a stand up? Like there's like a
No,
curtain-
that's the one for tonight. So maybe it is 3. I'm just counting wrong.
okay.
Trying to remember.
As far as I know, the only 2 are the year later and then the
and then the Olympics.
the Olympics. Yep.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Great.
It just feels like there are more somehow.
Let's see.
I'm ready whenever you
What's,
guys are.
I've been
Perfect.
ready. Did you see the
That,
new Dimension
that.
20 trailer for their steampunk season?
Skyward
All right,
yeah.
I'm here.
Cloud
I'm here.
system or something. Yeah. Sky
Cloudward
City.
Ho.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Cloudward Ho. Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
looks
forgot Earnestest.
cool. Yes, I knew there was one.
Earnestest.
Earnestest.
Yes, that's
That
right.
was hilarious.
That's episode 3. That's episode 3.
I was drinking a lot of margaritas when I watched that one. That's why I didn't
That
remember
one
as well.
I've seen the first 2. That one I've just seen clips of.
Well, you got to watch the whole thing, Patrick.
They
You
do-
gotta,
I don't know if
gotta
y'all-
watch the whole thing, Patrick.
you
I don't know
gotta
if
watch
y'all,
it.
follow them on YouTube, but like every day they drop like 1 or 2 shorts, and they just keep slowly showing
Yeah.
more and more of like the current episode.
It's very funny because, like, when I brought my Game Changer thing to a convention, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've seen clips of this show, but I've never watched it." Like, so many people.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Then let's clap it in. 3 and 2 and 1 and. That was perfect. We all did that exactly at the right time. No one go back and check or clip it.
Nope.
Okay.
It was great from where I'm watching.
Oh. Ah, ha, ha, ha. These are the mouth exercises I usually do before we get online.
Didn't you say something about tickling teeth and tongue?
Tickling, tick my tongues. I don't think I said any of the words correctly.
I think you got tongue, but I
That's
did
why
hear
this
tittling.
is practice time.
Titillating my teeth with my tongue. Ha! The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
That's sad. All right.
Wasn't
Here we
it
go.
Captain America.
Welcome to episode 582 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's pretty good, we swear. In this episode, we talk about James Chapman, Chris Hytha, and The Passengers. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So get ready to be satisfied with your listening choice, because it's time for another episode.
Shit.
Okay.
You said it's pretty good, and we swear.
Uh-huh.
So
You're adding to our deception. Yeah.
I love seeing in real time when your brain works.
Dr. Pepper
You act
Zero.
like your mustache was gonna fall off, Andrew.
Dr. Pepper Zero, not sponsored, just came out of my nose.
You're welcome.
That really just happened.
I
was like, I
knew
don't
that
get
that
it.
was a better joke than you were giving me credit for.
I was like, I don't get it. And then it clicked and it came way too Here we go.
Love
Over
it.
the lips and past the tongue. Look out, stomach. Here we go. You know what I'm talking about? That clip from it's a famous clip blooper from Michael Scott when he's at the dinner party. Yeah. It's funny.
Gotcha.
Just trust me, it's funny.
I'm there.
It's pretty good. We swear. Oh. Someone clip that. That's a
Nope.
clip. That's funny. Clip it. Okay. Where do we go? Where to start?
We're lost. We're 100%
start now.
lost.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're ready.
Here we are. We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. Patrick, you look noteworthy.
Thank you. For those that aren't listening, we are dropping hot seat
Those
episodes.
that aren't listening.
Oh, I mean, aren't listening
On Twitch.
to the hot seats yet.
Oh.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean,
the-
for
that
people
was
only
the-
watching on Twitch, you should go to our.
Yeah, any of these things could be what I
Yes.
meant, but the point is, hot seat episodes are coming out. So I want to start there by saying
Mm-hmm.
you need to listen to those. We've already had. Who have we already had?
We've had the. Who have we already had?
Angry designer,
Yeah,
Which
which
is-
I always want to
Courtney.
pluralize, but it's singular. We've
Yes.
had Courtney Askew,
Yes.
not Askew.
Mhm.
Awesome illustration. We've got Luke. I'll get his last name wrong, but Chops Design.
Fahrenheit or something like that. Fine.
Yeah, it's German something. So that, and then we have Tony Romaine, who
Yeah.
is a web designer. I mean, I think he's also just a
He's a
graphic
brand
designer.
and product designer. Yeah.
But that's coming out on Thursday of this week. So Luke would have been yesterday when this drops. That's tomorrow. And then
Yes.
it's going to continue. So you're getting 2 of those a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure you check those out. All right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
put Lauren on the spot. Have you listened to either of those yet, Lauren? The
Yeah,
ones that
both
are
of
live?
them. I've just
They're
been
fu-
listening to the ones as they come out. Yeah,
They're so fun.
just since
right?
I wasn't there. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great. I love listening. It makes me
the-
like again miss that I wasn't there because I was like, I remember how fun it was when we were doing it the last time.
It's hard to say this because we've done hundreds now of these hot seat interviews,
Mm-hmm.
but this batch might be some of the best we've ever done. Like in
I
terms
like
of
the
like how
format you have
relaxed
for
we
this
are.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just feels like we get into like the gamification of it feels even more I don't know, apropos of kind of where we've evolved to as a show. And so it's been a lot of fun. And these first couple that have rolled out are just an absolute blast. So if you haven't listened, yes, go listen to them. They're only 15-minute long, like they're little kind of
Yeah.
nugget pocket episodes, but they are a ton of fun.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that seems to be true, we used to try a lot harder.
Yes.
And I say that partially.
We've clearly given up.
I say that partially sarcastically, but actually what I mean is we used to think that by creating more work for ourselves, we were doing something that was somehow more important or better. What we've learned now is that the more effort we put into simplifying the process, the more room we leave for these kind of fun, easy, casual moments. Because otherwise, we're so tied up in the logistics that we can't just have a fun conversation.
Yeah.
So we've simplified everything to the point now that it doesn't feel like podcasting. And I think that comes through the conversations in a really positive way. So anyway,
Yeah.
lots of fun conversations to come.
You guys did a great job.
2 other things that I'm going to throw out. One, Taskmaster season 19. It's up to episode
Yes.
3 now. You can watch these on YouTube. So once they release, they immediately drop them on YouTube and you can watch them there. This season is it Jason Mantzoukas?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's the star.
he's next to last or last. He's only eclipsed in his failure by Fatia, but otherwise,
Who seems to
he's-
be bothered to just be there, but
doesn't even
it's
want
so
to
funny.
participate at all. Absolutely does not want to
It
participate.
honestly makes me mad. It kind of makes
No,
me
I
mad.
think it's clearly like part of the bit. Like in the first episode, I felt that way, but now that I'm like, this is her thing, I get it.
So
It's like,
annoyed,
I
Andrew.
think it's funny.
I am so annoyed. She just doesn't ever try, and he comments on it in this latest
Yeah. I
episode.
know.
He comments on how
But
she's
she
just
gets called on it.
yeah.
I do like when she calls people bruv. It
Yes.
just feels like
She calls
She
the
called
duck
the ducks. Yeah. That
but
one where they
this-
were sneaking through the castle was so funny.
Oh yeah, the ruined abbey or whatever.
What the
Check
heck
out my
was
ruined
Jason
abbey.
even trying to attempt?
Why didn't he just
Okay.
keep running? Running behind it was
okay.
such a good idea.
I think that's what he was gonna do. Is he was gonna
Yeah.
just try to make his way all the way around, and for some reason he got halfway there and decided not
He
to.
said he panicked, but what was he panicking with?
I think it was literally just like it would be funny to mess with him, and then he couldn't like figure out the best way to mess with him quick enough, or
He
I
just
don't
started
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hucking
That might be one of that's one of the few times I've seen everyone fail a task. By the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That it was pretty challenging, like with the random interval basically of him like with the eyes open and closed. Like,
But the episode is absolutely worth it to see all of Matthew Bainton.
oh my God. Yeah.
So great episode. Taskmaster season 19.
That was
First
so
3
funny.
episodes are out now. When new episodes drop, you can get them on YouTube, so you don't need any service to watch them. Absolutely worth a watch. And this cast this year has awesome chemistry.
Did you guys also hear about like how Jason Mantzoukas got on the show? Because I think it's pretty funny.
No.
So basically, he is a huge fan of Taskmaster and wrote into them and was like, "Can I please be on the show?" And they're like, "Yeah, if you pay for your own housing." And he's like, "Bet." And like literally paid for his own flight, his own housing the entire time. He's basically paying to be on Taskmaster. Like what he gets paid to actually be on the show, like the same as everyone else, is not maybe like exactly equivalent to the cost of him being there. But he wanted to do it so bad that he chose to just like
love
eat the
that.
cost.
I'll pay
Yeah.
my.
I would do the same thing.
Absolutely. So there was an interview recently with Alex Horn. For those that don't know, Alex Horn, who's shown as like the kind of right-hand person, is actually the creator of the show, and most of the bits come through Alex and one of his close friends. And Alex in an interview recently was talking about how his close friend actually negotiated a lower salary on the show because he said he felt like they were overpaying him for what he was actually contributing, and so he eventually convinced them to pay him less money, which I thought was
That's very honest.
odd thing to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's if you catch any videos that like interviews with Alex Horn, they're worth a listen. He's a very interesting person. Okay, so that's it. Check out Taskmaster 19. And the one other thing I'll talk about is Eurovision 2025 just happened, and the winner is JJ from Austria. I think this is their third win that they've picked up. The actual night itself, so you can go watch this on Peacock. You can watch both semis and the grand finals. The way they work, typically, just so you know, is semi 1 is on Tuesday, semi 2 is on Thursday, and then Friday. Is it Friday? No, it's Saturday. Saturday. Nope, I'm saying it wrong. Friday is the family show. It's kind of like the dress rehearsal where they don't do it live in terms of like it's not broadcast. But that's when they're actually recording all the acts and going through all the motions. Those become the backups in case something goes on Saturday. Saturday's actually the live show. It's like 4 hours long or something because all the performances take up a couple hours, and then they do the whole voting portion. Performances this year, it ended up being a really good year. I will say the one of the requirements for Eurovision, one of the few requirements, is that you have to sing live. The vocals have to be, at least the primary vocal has to be live. And some people are very bad. Like the song clearly like got people excited, and the song like won people's hearts, and their vocals are just trash. So frankly, like the first couple people that came out, it was whether it was a combination of how they mixed this year or what, it was started a little rough, but it ended up being a really fun set of performances, so worth checking out. The voting was in very it's created a lot of controversy. That said, I think people are JJ was one of the people that was considered one of the favorites, so the fact that JJ won, there are people that are very happy, but the voting created a bit of controversy, and if you want to, you can go check that up separately. It's very heavily rooted in politics, and so I'll just leave it there. But
Which like songs were you or like which were your favorites, or which countries were you rooting for?
So I didn't have as many. I did not have a clear favorite this year. In the past, I've had like the one that I wanted or the two that I wanted. I really liked the performer from Switzerland, Zoe something. I'm blanking on her name right now. I really liked her performance. And then I'll definitely get judged for this because this person got 0 of the popular vote. But the group from the UK, they sang. I'm blanking on the name of the song right now.
It's
And
okay. I can link them at least.
It's
Like
called like
with the
last
country
last
name.
night, or it's called What the Hell Happened or something like that. Great performance. They're actually all 3 performers on the West End, And
cool.
they performed in like Matilda and things like that. Funnily enough, they were kind of dressed in all the colors of the Schuyler sisters from Hamilton, but their vocals were awesome. I thought it was a very fun song and very reminiscent of like Elton John or something like that. So again,
Okay,
zero
cool.
of the popular vote. They came like near the bottom of the pack. But I
But you like
thought
it.
it was a great performance. And then the other
I'm gonna
song I
check it
liked was
out.
very problematic because it could feel like it was making fun of Italy. But it was called Macchiato. Check that one out. I think it's a lot of fun. I think
Is
you'll
that
get a good
by
laugh out of
Italy
it.
or?
No, it's not by Italy, which is I think the reason some people found it problematic. Very fun song. It's fun, but check out Macchiato.
Okay,
But those are some of my favorites. So
I will do
anyway,
that.
if you have Peacock, go watch Eurovision. Put it on. It's great to see the performances. I've said this before. If I've talked about it before, I've said this to people before. But the interesting thing they do is all these performances. I think the countries actually design out the sets and like how they want the performances to be done. And because of that, there's 26 performances in total, and each one feels very unique to the song. They'll change things like frame rate and aspect ratio and color grading and the sets. So it almost feels like you're watching all these like individual like music videos. Some have overlays, some don't. Well, actually, the song's called Espresso Macchiato. So, yeah. Anyway,
So yes.
but the production is fascinating as well. Is what I'm trying to get to. So the music's enjoyable. The production's very impressive. If you haven't tried it out, watch a few songs. And if you don't find it interesting, just watch Eurovision film with Will Ferrell. All right, that's everything for me. I'll save my last thing for master categories. So Andrew, I'll toss it to you for this week.
All right. Couple things. I started reading a book yesterday and got about one chapter into it and immediately stopped and texted 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to these 3 people, I said, the 3 people were Lauren Rubin of podcast fame, not Coolco is her handle, Andrew Kolb of podcast and book fame, and Kolb is neat is his handle, and then Will Trurin of wherever Will is, and
of the chat who is here today.
of the Scottish Trurins. So if I am immediately texting these 3 people, what do you think this book is about, Patrick? If you had to guess, what do these 3 people have in common?
Say the 3 again. It's Will.
It's Will, it's Andrew Kolb, and it's
Andrew
Lauren.
Kolb, and Lauren. It feels like it has to be related to Dungeons and Dragons in
You're
some way.
very, very correct. This book is called Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm not going to give you anything about it other than to say it is. There is a character in this book named Princess Donut, and she is a fluffy cat, and she is considered one of the crawlers. Like she's an active character in this book. I think you would absolutely love this story, Patrick, but you don't like books. Kolb asked in this thread. I first said like, "Hey, you all trust me, right? Like I need confirmation that you all trust me because I'm going to be vulnerable and give you a recommendation, but I think I know you all well enough to say that if you trust me, that you would stop whatever you're currently reading and pick this book up because I want to read it with people who I know will enjoy it and can talk about it with me. So I have like a community to talk because I don't know anybody who's reading this book. And once I got confirmation, kind of, from everybody that they trusted me, I told them about this book. And in that conversation, Kolb said that it had actually already been on his list for a while and that he would go
I've
pick it
heard
up.
of this book before.
Should Mackenzie read it?
Sure. Yeah, she totally could. It's incredibly entertaining. Incredibly
you can
entertaining.
read it to me.
Yes, she could. But Kolb said, like, is there a reason Patrick? He said, I noticed Patrick isn't in this thread. Is there a reason? I was like, yeah, Patrick's illiterate.
I literally said he doesn't read.
Yeah. I said he's a very high functioning illiterate.
You should
And
have
then I
just
think
said that-
Andrew Kolb said like, what was it, like as a like point of purpose or like just cause like
Right. Yeah. Like,
or
is
a
he
point of
making
principle. That's what he
is
said.
he making a statement or something?
Yeah.
But Patrick, you would love it. The audio version of this is it's almost like a radio play, multiple actors and actresses, voices and sound effects and all sorts of stuff. So I know you have a couple of long drives coming up. You could listen to the entire book between both drives. And I do believe that it's an incredibly entertaining story. You will probably get more out of it than Mackenzie, but it is very entertaining and it's very fun.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll do a full
I'm gonna
hold.
get it. I just need
It's
it.
called
Say the
sometime.
name one more time.
It's called Dungeon Crawler Carl.
It does have very fun cover art, as Kreider is pointing out.
It does, and it is one of a series. It's a series. I think there are 8 books or 7 books, 8 books.
So
something.
much commitment.
It is a commitment. Well, the first book isn't a commitment. Like I think you can just enjoy the story as it is. I'm more than halfway through it now, and I'm like,
I'm
gonna cut everything I'm doing short tonight so I can keep going in the book. I don't want to spend time with you people. I want to go read. I want to go spend time with Princess Donut and Carl.
I'm gonna take as long as I can. No, I'm just kidding.
It's just a really fun read and it's great. Okay, the other thing is we got speaking of things like Dungeons and Dragons and games and things. I was pulled into the office today from JP, who we've talked about on the show before, and he said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing a large scale murder mystery night with like 70 students." And
wow.
he's never done one. He's never participated in one. The other team member, Amanda, hasn't participated in one. And he was asking my opinion on if he thought this was a good idea. And I said, I think it's a good idea. I think you need to do a couple things. So I kind of laid out a couple of different options because I've done several different options. And where we landed, he said, well, do you know how we could script it? Because he wants it to be like a custom, like customized, like the characters be by the interns who are going to be running this. There's going to be like 6 people running this. And I said, well, that's going to be like you're going to need a custom script. And he was like, well, do you know who could help write that? I'm like, honestly, ChatGPT. And so while we were sitting there, I just gave it I said, create a murder mystery style event that has with these parameters, 60 minutes long. It has 6 cast, and it's going to be for 10 teams of 7 middle and high school students. And I need a rundown and a schedule and a script. And within 30 seconds, it spit out this whole thing. And it gave a script. It gave like props, like a prop list. It gave all of this stuff, and he was just blown away by it. And
What
it's
a
so
great usage.
It was a great use. And so I said, and then we even like specified.
This is the kind of stuff I wish people use GPT for instead of taking people's jobs.
Yeah, like just having fun with it.
Having a fun party.
In fairness, they now get to fire several of their interns because Andrew did this.
Yeah. None, the interns are completely useless at this point.
Yeah, they should have spent 3 weeks writing this.
Anyway, it had a whole schedule. It had the entire script. It had all the plot points. It had motivations for each of the characters, like backstory and motivations, with like a grid of like a table layout of everything. And it was so fun. So
That's awesome.
It was.
Have
just
they
fun.
run this already, or how did it go?
This was today. This was literally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to tell us how it went next time.
They ideated it today. They will be working on it. I'm sure they will refine the prompt or whatever, but it was just fun. That's a fun use of ChatGPT. That's kind of what I was trying to drive to.
Oh,
That
well, I
episode
want to hear
of
how
The
it goes
Office-
when they run it. It sounds really cool.
I will.
That episode of The Office would have been a lot different if he could have just generated his rundown.
That's true. If he could have just generate a rundown for Charles.
Yeah, much quicker. So they're
I'm
not
just faxing my rundown over to my mom.
So just for my own curiosity, because we have run a murder mystery. I think we've run 2 of them. Never done a dinner party, but we've done the like entire group participating where everyone is has a role.
Yeah.
In your case, it sounds like a small number of people will have roles, and then other people are just trying to solve it.
Yeah.
as
So
like,
let me actually give you.
okay.
Let me actually tell you what it says here. It says, where did it go? Here we go. Where is it? This is deep in the weeds. Hang on.
Sure, super deep in the weeds.
There's so much stuff. Okay, here we go. It says this is like the top part of it, right? So let's see if it'll.
Yeah,
There we go.
the Masquerade
So
Heist.
It get the Masquerade Heist. So one of the cues that we gave to it, like just a quick refiner, we said, well, maybe we don't want it to be about a murder. Maybe it's they steal something. So I gave it a keep the same. I said make it so that something was stolen and not a murder. And so it gives me the new thing, and it says overview plot: a priceless artifact has gone missing during a glamorous masquerade ball. The thief is among the guests. Cast 6 actor characters. Students 10 groups of 7 middle and high school students. Goal: identify the thief, how the item was stolen, and why. Time 60 total minutes. So it gives you like the parameters. So what basically the teams are going to go around interviewing the different actors.
So
and
like 7 people or 6 people involved to determine it.
And then
That's
they are
really
to
cool.
take the clues that are presented to them and deduce those 3 elements. And I guess there's 3 parts to getting a correct solve. So
like pretending to murder someone that's not gonna fly.
I have
You
funny
said it's
thing
for
to tell
kids,
you
though.
off air that makes that funnier. But yes, so maybe the decision to not have somebody go away is maybe the better decision.
Okay,
So,
sure, sounds good.
And then the final thing, Cooper and I were hanging out this weekend, and actually I was on the hunt for something Lorcana related. And when that kind of came up empty, Cooper said, well, why don't we we're already out here, why don't we just go to North Star Mall? I was like, okay, let's just go hang out in North Star Mall. While we were there, we may have bought something. And it's the
Lorcana?
most... Yeah, we got a Lorcana. Yeah, there was a guy just standing there in the
He
shop.
had it like in the coat, you know.
And this might be the cruelest thing that my son has ever done to me. We bought this, and then immediately I had to take him back to his mom's house for the next 2 weeks. So I now have this Mario Kart
waiting.
Lego set, and it's just
Did you gotta
sitting
wait for
here.
him?
It's just
So
sitting here.
I saw this and I was gonna ask you: is it roughly the same size as the popcorn bucket you have?
It's a little bit bigger than the popcorn bucket.
Wow, that's nice.
It's a
Legos
great,
are
it's a great
so
size.
big.
It's just shy of 13 inches long, and it's 8.5 inches tall, and then you can put it on a stand. Like there's a stand that it comes with that kind of elevates it. So
Where do you keep all your Legos, Andrew? You have so many, and like I have one, and I don't know where to put it.
when we put them together, I just buy extension storage units, and I put them in there, and I never look at them again.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, yes, we are running out of space, but there's a little bit of room left in this glass case that Patrick didn't want to travel across the country with. So we actually have Patrick's old designer toy
Yeah, I remember
glass
those
case,
cool
and
glass
so
cases. Yeah,
yeah, I wish I could show you, but it's
I remember what they
It's
look
gone.
like, but the listeners do not. Yeah,
yeah.
that.
Thanks,
this.
Back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
Really wish I had that now.
they sit in
Oh, yeah?
and on this glass case. Yeah.
I don't know if IKEA still sells that. I think they still sell that cabinet. It's
They
a
do.
great. It's like very sturdy. It's a great cabinet.
yeah, it's nice.
and it works really well for I know it's super blurry and dark because of how the lighting is, but it's not a Calyx.
Kreider,
It's
who
something
amongst
different.
you does not own a Calyx?
Calyx.
A Calyx? Calyx?
I got excited.
I realize I don't know how
thinking
to
it was
say it.
Clax, which is a really fun game, but
Calyx.
no one on
The-
Earth knows about it.
So we have the
I mean, these are Calyx back here. That's like the
and the
his
there's
is-
a Calyx right here off to the
Oh,
side.
But
I-
his is like
Oh, the
metal and
bookcases? Yeah, I
glass.
have
Like
them
that
up
other
here.
case is metal with glass side panels and glass shelves.
Yeah.
If you take a light and turn it upside down on top of it, it just shines through the glass and it illuminates.
If you spend enough money, they give you like these kind of like limited sets, these limited edition sets. This one qualified for this little baby spaceman, which is in the
Oh,
same.
it's cute.
Patrick, it's in the same. Ratio, like the
small.
same scaling,
Dimension or whatever?
Yeah, as the adult that's back here. So there's a baby that you put together, and it's the spaceman.
That's so cute.
Super fun. There is an in scale Lego set of the blue shell from Mario Kart, but you have to have 2,500 Lego points and purchase.
Is that like per dollar, or how does that work?
you get 6.5 points per dollar spent.
Okay, that's
and
good.
so it's with purchase, and you can only buy it on Lego.com. You can't buy it at any of the stores. And so I've got like $107 that I have to spend in order to get that blue shell. Now, I will
that's
say
easy to do with Legos. I will.
it's true.
Say. Yeah.
A little while back there was a Bowser. Remember the animated Bowser that I have? This is in scale with that. And then the Piranha Plant came out last year or the beginning of this year. It's in scale with that too. So there's lots of in scale pieces that you can get that are Mario based now, which is super fun. So anyway, I want that blue shell. We're gonna try to find it. It's a limited set. It's on Lego.com. So I think that's it. I've talked enough about stuff. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Lauren.
Is this just an excuse to be done early so you can go back to reading?
Oh, I already started reading while you.
I got it. Okay. Well, the number one thing that I wanted to talk about this week is Andor. The series finale was this week, and what an absolute joy and treasure and like special time it was to have the show back for a few weeks. It sadly is the end of the show, and I know none of you guys are watching it, which is terrible, like truly terrible, because I think this show is a masterpiece. I don't care if you don't like Star Wars. This is one of the best TV shows that's come out in at least the last 10 years. It's absolutely incredible. Yes, this blows this out of the water.
You think this blows Ozark out of the water?
Yeah.
Wow.
Easily.
Wow.
To me.
I'm not going to fight you because I feel like you are so emotionally connected to this show that I'm like, it would be bad to like even pretend to be negative about it.
If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to argue with you about it, like why I think it's like so much better. But I just think this show is like really freaking special. Like I have not seen many things like this, like that are just like such a like masterpiece. Like they kind of nail every episode. Everything is so well considered. No character shows up in the background that gets like forgotten later or like isn't there for some reason that like matters. And like I just think like now having seen the whole picture, like it comes together so well. Like the way that it leads into Rogue One, which was like the pitch of the show from the very beginning, is so much more like interesting and emotional and such a like cool hook to like that story that it's like I pretty much was like turning on Rogue One the second it was over, even though it was super late at night, wanting to just like know what was gonna like, you know, like knowing now that what we know and how much all this like enriches the cake, like to get to like enjoy this story with like all that cool new context. Like forever, like if there's ever a prequel story about anything from now on, they have to like watch this show and like take it as the like primary example of like what prequels are, or like what
in
they should
film
be.
School they should be using this as the example.
This should be the example because it like adds to the story, it enriches it, but it doesn't like force you into that other story in a way that feels fake or like, you know, like that. Sometimes it feels like they're working backwards, you know, like everything is like forced into fitting into that path. And this felt like it was just so natural. And like, of course it had to happen this way, you know, just absolutely freaking incredible TV. If you like, the series is all over now. So if you're like a completionist person, like you can just sit down and watch all of this now. You can complete the trilogy by watching season 1, 2, and then just go straight into Rogue One because that is like how the story's meant to be told. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can keep going and watch A New Hope because that is similar way that Rogue One leads into New Hope is how Andor leads into Rogue One.
Can I watch season 2 without watching season 1?
I don't think it would be as enjoyable. This is a really like a story that really pays off.
I started season 1. But I've just had a couple people close to me say that season 1 is slow.
I just don't know what show they were watching, in my opinion.
I mean,
I
said
just
that.
got one complete agreement and one complete disagreement.
I was one of those people. I had it was a drudge for me trying to, and I got through it literally, Lauren, because I love and respect you. I pushed through it. But had you not sung so much praise of it, I don't think I would have. Now,
if you have to have it for the payoff, that's fine. But I was just curious if I could just
I really
watch
don't think
2.
it would be as good without watching season 1. I won't say it's impossible, like, but there's certain things that would be a little harder to follow. But the way that this second season works is like kind of 4 small stories. They got like released each week. So like every week we got 3 episodes and they're kind of an arc. They each take place over 3 days that are 1 year apart from each other. So there's also kind of an interesting way that it works, where these feel like little mini movies this time, a lot more than the first season did. I just don't know how like it was boring, like all this stuff like where they're in the prison and all that, like just so exciting to me. And like the speeches that they throw in this show are just like so inspiring and meaningful. And like I think one of the coolest things about the show is they wrote it 5 years ago, so they had no way of knowing what current events were going to line up with what the show was going to be airing against. But the way that this show has kind of accidentally or like unintentionally kind of just said all the things that needed to be freaking said right now, like in a show, like, but it's, in a Star Wars package, so we can get away with it, I guess. But like, it's
the series finale was called Tariffs, right?
In fairness, Billy Joel kind of did the
remember
same thing.
when we all watched the prequels and we're like, space tariffs are so boring.
So let me, my last question, not a critique, question.
Yes.
The three episode arc, I did have someone say that mentally that made them feel like they were going to have 2 slow episodes, 1 payoff, 2 slow episodes, 1 payoff, that like that kind of rhythm.
I just don't
2 setups and a payoff.
I just truly don't see it that way, because I find all the time spent building up to the moments of the payoff that you're talking about, like maybe the action scene or whatever, aren't what I'm watching it for. I need the emotional moments of the people talking about why, like, or who they are and why they're doing this to care about that payoff. So like, to me, it's not slow. It's just building like part of the story. Like you have to have, like in Game of Thrones, for example, the later seasons aren't as good because they're not taking time to like sit down with the characters and like spend time with them and care about why they're doing things. They're just trying to get from battle to battle and impress you. This show is the opposite. Like,
I do want to say this, Lauren. This is not your motivation ever for any reason. But I will say the world agrees with you. Like we are in the minority.
Well, no, it's
this,
actually
for
like,
sure.
I know that a lot of people aren't watching this show, and it's sad to me because like, I do think this, like, I get why people are tired of Star Wars and all these franchise things, but this show is just so.
I don't even mean that. I don't mean people who choose not to watch it. I mean people who have watched it and felt like it was slow. We are not in the majority on that. Like, for people who watched it, for people who have watched it, they absolutely enjoy it. By and large, that is like, it is their favorite thing that they've seen.
Yeah, I had Spencer of Film Dispenser tell me that it may actually be better than Breaking Bad, and that was a show that he held in really high esteem.
I would put that. I would agree with that, because I think that this really, like, no second is wasted. Like, nothing is. There's no fat on this sandwich. Like, it was 2 seasons. It was 24 episodes. Like, there's stuff that they wanted to, like, that I've like heard them like say, like ideas that they had, and I'm like, all of these are cool, but I wouldn't have traded a second of what we got, because I think that like this show is just so well crafted that all the pieces built together so well, and that it just comes together kind of perfectly. Like it's a really beautiful like piece of storytelling.
I was talking what started this is he reached out to recommend the show to me, actually. And he said, before I recommend something, if someone recommends something, are you less likely to watch it? And I said,
I know that you guys are like that sometimes, but.
Well, I said kind of, but I said, here's why. The fandom for some things is so strong that if I watch it and then I want to talk about it, I will have to engage that fandom. And not wanting to engage that fandom can be so strong that I would rather just not watch the thing and not know, because I don't want to be on the wrong side of someone's opinion, like of like a really strong opinion. And what fandom is more daunting than the Star Wars fandom?
Daunting is a very good word.
I was
for that.
like,
the
like
what fandom
Schneider
do you
Bros
not want to be
chorus. Yeah, that's
opposed
the worst
to
one,
in
but
any
yes.
way than the Star Wars fandom, because they will do everything they can to just destroy your life.
I know
That's the part of me
menace,
that's like,
yeah.
maybe I just don't need to watch it.
I've never heard of the fandom menace, but that's a fantastic way of saying it.
I just heard it really recently on a podcast, and I'm like saving that one. But I just think I get what you're saying, but like I guess like I was getting defensive because I'm like, you haven't watched it, you can't call it boring. Like if I'll defend it. If you want to talk to me after you've watched it, I will sit down and listen to whatever you have to say.
Jedi Robbie's in chat called the first season boring, and I was talking to someone who has watched all of it and described it like 2 nights ago and described it as boring. So
and I watched all season 1, and I would still describe it that way.
Yeah.
So
I just really like, I don't know, like to me I just find like all this, like I even get excited with the ideas of like what is a Star Wars art gallery and seeing things like that, just because like I've never watched a sci-fi show where they talk about things like that, and I just think it's like really fun, like to like have all of these like very realistic versions of like spycraft in Star Wars and things like that. Like it's just very crazy.
I will watch myself
I think
a Star
it's
Wars.
amazing. Yeah. If you're gonna
I'll
watch
catch a
one,
Star
I
Wars.
do think this one is like pretty fantastic, and
I'm gonna have
it is very nice and cathartic right now.
Yes.
I'm gonna have some time off in a few weeks, some forced time off in a few weeks. I will give season 1 a rewatch because I don't want to try to watch season 2.
Yeah.
I'm basically going in blind.
I don't
even
think.
though
I
I've
think
seen
if you've watched it once and you're like, oh yeah, they did this thing, like it'll come back to you.
But I don't.
But like,
my brain doesn't work the same way yours does. Like you can remember characters and actors' names, and you can remember plot points. Like I remember kind of broad scale stuff. You remember minutia in a way that it just doesn't make sense to my brain. So I will rewatch because I'm gonna give it its best possible shot.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I did with Dune. I could not get through. It took me 3 watches to even finish Dune. And everybody, all of the same people are saying this is incredible. And I'm like, I just don't get it. I went back and rewatched Dune so that I could watch Dune 2, Electric Boogaloo, and enjoyed it much more. And it's also possibly like when I first watched this stage of life, right? Like season of life that I was in. Things were a lot different back then. A lot more different.
Phantom Menace is hilarious.
It came out like 4-5 years ago, like or 3 years ago. It was like 3.5 years ago, I think, is when the first
7,
season
who
aired.
knows?
Sorry, I'm trying to remember.
It was between 2003 and 2025, and there's no way to know for sure.
It was after the time of Caesar.
It was a good amount of time either way. It just kept getting pushed back with like scheduling stuff because of strikes and all that. But like,
well, I will give it a rewatch, and Patrick is going to give it a watch. And
I've already watched the first episode. I already started
rewatching, or
he's not seen
like
the first
recently
season
or
all the way
never?
through yet.
You've only seen the first episode.
I literally
sorry.
this past week started
Oh.
the first episode.
Well, that's exciting. I'm glad that it's like picking up because I have noticed like over the like last week or two, a lot of people in our community or other people are getting the word of mouth and checking it out. So it makes me happy. It just, I know that going into this season, a lot of people did not watch the first one and didn't care about it or whatever. So like, I don't know.
Kreider said it took
I don't
him
know.
3
You guys
times
live on
to get through
another
the first
planet than
episode.
me.
Yeah, we're on Tatooine, and you're on Endor.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I haven't. Don't spoil it. I haven't taken the quiz yet.
Yeah. But I definitely recommend checking out Andor, especially if you are a longtime Star Wars fan. I feel like for me, this kind of like was a good like spark that reignited what I get excited about with this stuff. And so like I was really like, this show is just exactly what I wanted it to be, even better than I expected it to be.
Sure.
And I hope more people check it out.
I don't want to steal some of your time,
You're
but we are
good.
talking about Star Wars, and this was sitting
Yes.
under my Lego box, and I meant to talk about it. You remember how Patrick talked about this last week or last time? He, unbeknownst to me, knew that there was a copy of this coming my way. So thank you, Film Dispenser, for my signed copy of Young Jedi Adventures with the remark of Yoda on it. Super nice.
Cool.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
It was everything I could do to not try to take credit for that.
That's so funny.
I love that Lauren thought that I would give that to you. That's insane.
Well, yeah. Well, Andrew texted a picture to our group chat, and I was like, Patrick, you re-gifted your special like autograph signed copy. That's so
Never.
crazy. Like after you showed it on air, you're like, he saw it, I can mail it. Like,
I actually just realized I may have only texted you guys and not Spencer. I didn't text Spencer. Son of a gun.
Oh, he probably thinks you're.
well, now you got to.
He just thinks I'm an absolute jerk. I'll send it back to him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, staying on the Disney train, I also went to the theater and saw Thunderbolts, which now have you guys, I know Andrew's seen it. Patrick, have you seen it?
I've seen it twice.
Twice already? Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't
I
wanna
wanted
talk
to go
about
see
it.
it again. No?
You don't want to talk about it because you haven't seen it, or you don't want to talk
Because
about
I
it
haven't seen. I don't know. My life has fallen apart, and I'm not watching movies right now.
You finally saw Sinners, which I'm
Ooh,
surprised you didn't talk
very
about
good.
in the.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go see it.
Shut up! Are you kidding me?
The person going
You
with
lied.
me bailed. The person going with me bailed. I texted like 6 other people. They all couldn't do it, so I hung out with my wife instead.
Why didn't she
Take her to go.
She was scared.
She was scared.
This was good.
She was scared.
I
Why,
need to
why
have-
didn't you go by yourself?
I was scared. I
I went all by myself.
I need to take a day and just watch like 4 films back to back.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
a
would
heavy
put
one to try
Thunderbolts
to-
on the list because it was a lot of fun. We don't have to
Yeah.
talk about it too much until maybe you've seen it then, because I
Yeah.
think it would be more
Y'all
fun
can
to talk
talk about it. I don't care at all.
It does feel like we are past the. We are pretty
That's
well
what I'm
past the
saying. Like
point of
I
the major
deserve
spoiler.
whatever y'all say about it. That's on me, not
We
on
can
y'all.
avoid
so
spoilers. I didn't have anything that I wanted to say that I feel like is too
That
much.
has no spoilers in, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
No, I
didn't
thought
have
you were
anything to
saying
say
I didn't
that's
have
not-
anything to say, and I was like, oh, that'll be spoiler.
Oh no. Like I was intentionally avoiding spoilers because I feel like it's still pretty recent. Though they did drop their own spoilers so fast. Like the new title reveal, I saw it Saturday morning, like first thing.
Have
when
you
I,
seen the new
turned
title
on-
reveal, Patrick?
What's funny is I have, but then I also don't remember what it said.
Great.
Okay,
then
well, I'm just
great.
gonna-
I saw like where someone like ripped a poster and there was like something
Yes.
else and like, but I don't
Yes.
remember what it said.
Yeah.
I think we're
I think
safe
it said
to
like
say that
tricks are
one.
for kids. Is that what it said?
It said
If you had
tricks
to
are for
guess,
kids.
what do you think it says?
Silly rabbit.
Yep. Because it already said tricks are for kids, and you peeled
Yeah.
the thing away and it said silly
says
rabbit,
Silly
comma,
rabbit. Yes.
tricks
yes.
are for kids.
Thunderbolts asterisk silly rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see what the asterisk was all about because in the marketing the whole time leading up to it, I'm like, why do they have this asterisk after it? It was cool. It was a really smart piece of marketing for them.
I mean, I had a
Jedi
feeling it was
hasn't
going to
seen
be.
it in chat, and so he's like, please.
Well,
don't
I had
say
a feeling
anything.
it would be something pretty similar to that before they revealed it, but like I couldn't believe how fast there was like tons of marketing, like official Marvel marketing, showing that this reveal of the title the day after the movie came out.
They
Like-
basically paid for 2 rounds of marketing for the same film.
Yeah. Yes.
Which
Because
is
they pushed this
crazy.
one pretty hard too.
Yeah.
Like I was seeing ads for
on
this
massive sides
everywhere.
sides of buildings on
In a way where
billboards
it's
in
like,
Times Square and yeah.
They knew that they had a good thing on their hands with this movie, and I do feel like they kind of like got back in stride a lot with this movie. Like it was really
very
fun.
good.
Like I would like to see it again. Like I totally understand you going to see it again. It felt like it has a lot in common with Guardians of the Galaxy, but not in a way that overlaps too much.
I think some of it has some of the vibe of it, but it has a better meaning in my opinion. Like
I think the way that it like comes together, like both feature a central group hug, but this one feels less cheesy.
well, because this one I feel like has a deeper root, pun
Yes.
not intended,
Yes.
to like real things that people can actually people can relate to. It's basically about depression and loneliness. The entire movie is
and
about
grief.
that.
Yeah, and I thought
yeah,
like
how-
I was
and how do you
surprised like
grieve? Yeah,
how
so-
emotional it was, and like I think I've seen other movies trying to talk about these things a lot lately. Like there's kind of that joke where it's like every Disney villain is just your emotions now, but like this actually it feels like in the same trend, sort of, but like it didn't feel dumb. It felt like a very interesting like. They felt like they had something to say about this. It felt like it was really like emotional and like they spoke about this in a really like I think uplifting way or like in the way that it comes through in the ending. Like I really liked the way that they were talking about these heavier themes. And it is funny that it is like this group of goofballs and then like making you cry at the end because they're
Yeah.
like
Genuinely, it's
just
good.
because it's so important to be friends.
and honestly, you almost pitch perfect casting. Almost.
Who would
pitch
you say
perfect
you didn't
casting.
like then?
I don't love Bob.
Do you know that he was like replaced like partway through?
Who was it? Who was it originally?
Originally it was Stephen Yeun, which I think is really interesting.
I like Stephen Yeun. for
I
that part.
liked this guy as well. I feel like it would be a very, very different performance.
totally
so
would be.
Like it would have been a really and I like it. I don't know how. I don't think the movie got very far along before Stephen Yeun had to drop out. So like I don't know. I think they like catered it to him once it was a different person a little bit. But I felt like there were some questions that they were bringing up in this movie that I feel like have been brought up in The Boys and Invincible, where I'm kind of glad that because Stephen Yeun does the voice for Invincible and is so involved in that show that it didn't overlap like that personally. But I know not as many people watch that show, so like take it or leave it. And I know that's kind of a weird.
By the way, I did binge watch all of that like a month ago.
It's
all the way
great,
through.
right? It's so good.
It's very good.
I really like that show.
So there,
like-
as this is non-spoiler. There's
Yeah.
a stinger at the end. It's a Marvel movie. It's a stinger at the end. Did
Yes.
you know about the stinger? Like the detail about the stinger?
Uh,
Like who like that it was not from the director of this film?
Oh, like someone else directed the actual stinger?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that, but that makes sense given
the
what
stinger,
it is.
yeah, the stinger
And I'm
of this
so
one-
happy that the stinger is for a movie that's going to come out within the next at least 2 to 3 years and not maybe going to come out like Doctor Strange 4 or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to go any deeper. 'Cause
I
feel
was just
that's
really
a
happy
little-
that it's like
that's a little spoilery. But
That's all.
yes.
Like, I was excited that it's like something that's gonna happen soon, because I feel like a lot of the ones we've had like in the more recent movies are things that may never happen or are so far down the line that it's like, like this isn't
Or
even
the-
a fun teaser.
Or they end up getting recast because the person that's in them gets canceled.
Yeah, like
Stuff
I
that,
don't
yeah.
remember which movie it was attached to, but when like they had the tease for like Doctor Strange hanging out with Charlize Theron, I'm like, dude, we already have 3 Doctor Strange movies. They come out like 8 years apart. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't, stuff like that just kind of bothers me. But I think this was really exciting, and like it feels like Marvel's starting to get their footing back, which is very exciting before Fantastic Four. And one day when we can talk about theories, I really want to tell you guys my Fantastic Four theory before the movie comes out.
Okay.
Patrick, do yourself a favor and do a movie day where you double feature this. And I think you should end with. Oh gosh, it's tough.
That's a
I
weird
like the way in
combo.
which we watched Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie.
Which would mean Sinners first.
Yeah, I think you do it that way. But Sinners definitely gives you a lot more to think about than Oppenheimer did. Like there's
I would have
give
wanted. I
yourself
would do
like a-
Thunderbolts first and then Sinners, because like Sinners is still fun, but you do want to like chew on it
But this-
afterwards.
this
What
is what I was
about
gonna say.
Sinners?
You don't wanna go right into another
Thunderbolts,
theater.
Then Sinners.
see it.
Yes, that's
twice.
great. Yes, perfect.
Sandwich it between. No, what I think you should honestly do: see Sinners, and then have that be like a morning film, and then go have lunch somewhere and think it through and talk it through with whoever it is you go with, even if it's by yourself. Like call me while you're eating, and we'll talk about the movie, and then go see Thunderbolts after lunch. I think that's the play there, because you want to end with Thunderbolts, because Thunderbolts is it ends.
I was going to end with
doesn't
The
matter.
Accountant too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
just throw it in there.
I really want to see The Accountant too. Yeah, I really want to see that.
No, that's what genuinely, there's at least 4 movies out right now that I would sit in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go this weekend. I won't be able to go this weekend, but I do want to like take a day and just go sit in a theater.
Yeah, got some good stuff to catch up on. It'll be a fun day because these are great movies.
Yeah.
There's
You're
been
gonna
some,
have to
home
hold in
runs.
so much pee during these movies.
Or I could listen to the Kreider Design Center podcast
Yeah.
about Sinners. I don't know if it's dedicated to Sinners.
Kreider, you have a
just all about
wife,
sinners.
a wifely podcast about sinners.
A
Well,
wifey
they've had a podcast for a while. I don't know that
Yeah.
it's
I didn't know it was.
exclusively about
I didn't know it
Sinners.
was he and his wife. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ain't
fun.
that cool?
he'll hear that question in about 30 seconds.
Here's the thing, Kreider. I'm never going to go
Kreider,
to the
put the name
theaters
of
to
your
watch
podcast.
something called Clown in a Cornfield. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, I was like, I'll probably not check that out in theaters, but
Patrick-
that is
Patrick
a
just-
home rental choice.
Patrick, by just personal rule, won't even drive by cornfields anymore because of how often they're used in horror
There was
films.
that one time, yeah. All
All right,
right.
Lauren, what else you got?
All right, I had one more thing, but I think I'll save it for next week because we're going long, and let's get into master categories.
Well, I guess you've just taken over the show, haven't you? That's the sound that gets played at that point. Master categories. Each episode when we talk about the dice we rolled the week before, those dice give us our categories. We pick our topics based on those categories. Lauren, I'm dying to know who James Chapman is. So why don't you just talk
Alrighty.
about it now?
Okay, so I got art. Sorry, I was getting my stuff ready. So I got art last week, and so I picked an artist that I have followed for a very long time, and his name is James Chapman. I'm just gonna share my screen. I think that will be easiest. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Dead Space.
The podcast
I'm
is
sorry.
called Married at the Movies.
There you go.
Yes.
Married at the Movies.
Because Kreider and his wife actually did get married at a movie theater.
Oh, how perfect. Well, this ties in really nicely because this artist pretty much draws
I love
a
this
picture
artist.
for every movie that he's like ever seen. And like it's really cool. And I followed him for such a long time. It's like fun to see his style evolve so you guys can kind of see some examples. But
I've been following this guy for probably the last 3 years. He's
awesome.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's great. He does like so his page is pretty much like a blog of all the movies he's watching or kind of interacting with. Sometimes there are like, I would say like theme weeks, you know, like if a new Wes Anderson movie is coming out, which there is in a couple weeks, there will be like, oh, here's all the Wes Anderson movies I've done. But he posts like a ton of new stuff constantly. Like here's one for Sinners that we just talked about. I think they're so cool. Like he managed to put in like so much detail, but still keep it like a relatively simple style. And like all of his art is hand done with the Posca markers, which are these like acrylic markers, like you can see here at the bottom of the picture, which are like kind of like chunky and like heavy. Like they're not necessarily like the
they're
easiest.
paint markers.
Yeah, they are like very, very opaque paint markers. Like they're very like you really can't see through them. It's pretty like nice quality when you draw with them. And it's really cool. Like he manages to get like so many like cool like textures and like different like feelings and stuff, but just through like the same types of lines. Like I think it's really cool. It's like kind of like drawing in Illustrator sometimes.
Reminds me of Emily. What's her name? Something Hunt. What was her name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I would have known until you said that.
Till I
follow
said
her.
something and now no idea.
She does characters.
Oh, this movie.
She does characters. So that's
Sure.
That's
true.
But I know who you're talking about.
Great. I'll look her up. Continue.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's really cool. He also does a lot of like tutorials on how to do different like tricks and tips and tricks with Posca markers, like things that I actually didn't know, like how this ones I saw recently that like how to blend them together. I'm not like I don't use these very often, but I have a few. Like I only have a couple of colors anyway, but like this is a really cool idea that I definitely like want to try out. I did a little more research on like him as a person. Like he's actually like been a teacher for a long time, so that's why he likes doing lots of tutorials and sharing things like that. He's also written 2 books. One of them is really cute. It's about like the sounds animals make in different languages. So like it's not always the same, like ribbit isn't always the same word when you like go to another country. So it's like all the sounds for ribbit in different languages, or words for like the sound a frog makes in different languages. I think it's really cool. So yeah, it's really neat. You can buy prints of all of these pieces, which is really cool. You can join his movie club. It's on Patreon every month. And you can also buy the originals as well if you're interested. He sells them online.
Do you have any of his originals or prints?
I don't actually, but I followed it for a long time. Like I feel like I should pull the trigger because I like so many of them. Like this Dune one is great.
Aaron
like the
Hunting.
Aaron Hunting, thank you. Yes.
Aaron Hunting is the person I was looking for, who we actually had an interview on with Maker's Dozen. But yeah, reminds me a bit of her style.
It's a little bit like that, yeah.
I definitely recommend following them. I found them on Instagram originally, and the handle is Chapman Gamo. That's the easiest way to find it, and it's a lot of fun. I really recommend checking it out, especially since so many of us here are movie fans. Like, it's a really fun way to get to like see like your favorite moments in movies kind of brought to life in a fun new way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoy his stuff.
That's really good. Okay, who you tossing it to, Lauren?
Andrew, go for it.
All right, mine will be pretty brief. I read a book last week in preparation for this week's Whiskey and Wise, and we've been reading these like other than the treasure hunt book, it's been primarily like historical reads or like retellings or whatever, which are fine. They have a place, but this one is totally fiction. The pick this month is totally fiction, and it's called The Passengers, and it's by John Mars. I'm just going to read you the Goodreads description of the book, and then we can talk about it for just a hot second. I got technology. So that was, and so my blend into that is, you'll hear in just a second. 8 self-drive cars set on a collision course. Who lives? Who dies? You decide. When someone hacks into the systems of 8 self-drive cars, the passengers are set on a fatal collision course. The passengers are a TV star, a pregnant young woman, a disabled war hero, an abused wife fleeing her husband, an illegal immigrant, a husband and wife, and parents of 2 who are traveling in separate vehicles, and a suicidal man. Now the public have to judge who should survive, but are the passengers all that they seem at first?
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's a thriller book. It's like a mystery book. There's like twists almost every other page. Exactly. Yes, that's right, Patrick. There's if you like books with lots of twists and you don't exactly know where it's going, you will love this book. Like I said, it's totally fiction, and it was a really nice departure and break from some of the stuff that I've been taking in. Not nearly as fun as Dungeon Crawler Carl, but The Passengers is a pretty good read. And
Is it a choose your own adventure?
It's not a choose your own adventure.
I thought you said
get
you
to choose who
decide.
dies,
I
yeah.
know.
Doesn't it say you decide?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of the premise.
Turn to page 38.
The premise:
Remember those?
you start in this slightly distant future in London, where self-driving cars are mandated. It's now illegal to drive your own vehicle on the roads, and there are
interesting.
5 different levels of self-driving security. The 5th level, like the lowest levels, there are lots of bypasses. Like there's still brake pedals and gas pedals and steering wheels that are in the car, and only a handful of those, or a few thousand of those vehicles are left. The highest is a 5, and a 5 is fully autonomous. There's no brake pedals. There's no steering wheel. There's nothing there can be zero actual interference or interaction with or overriding in a manual sense. All of these vehicles are level 5 vehicles, and you're introduced to this idea because there is a jury who is there because there are far less traffic incidents. When there is a traffic incident involving a self-driving vehicle and either a pedestrian or somebody else, they go before the court, and the court has to decide, was this a defect in the manufacturing or in the software or the hardware, or was this basically negligence of the human interaction? And very quickly you realize they never rule in favor of the people. They are always ruling in favor of the technology, and they always find fault in the people. And so you see this jury of, I think, 6 or 7 people, and they're discussing this. And basically what you realize is the cars get hacked. The hacker makes it very clear, you guys have not been judging fairly. Now it's time for you to judge, and the world will see. They televise all of these cameras, and they see everything. And the decision has to be played. And then the public also chimes in. They bring in a social media expert who has to read so basically there's like 7 votes. 6 of them are the jury, and then the 7th vote is the people.
The public, yeah.
The public, and they get to vote on who lives and dies, basically.
That's really interesting.
It's a wild story. It's a little close to home. Yes, it's like science fiction, but it's only kind of science fiction.
Yeah, it feels like Black Mirror-y, where it's like this could happen in a couple years.
This could be a Black Mirror episode, or it could be a Black Mirror movie, honestly. Yeah. Based on how they kind of the trajectory and the flow of the story arc.
I'm pretty sure it was like a TED Talk quite a few years ago that I listened to, but this is reminding me of that, where like I think about this a lot because this was such an interesting thing at the time, where like self-driving cars were just becoming a thing, and this person was bringing up how like who the programmer is that gets to decide how self-driving cars work. And then there's things where like once you're in a situation where there's an accident, does the self-driving car protect the driver or the pedestrian?
They talk
and then
about
like what are the like legal ramifications if it doesn't protect the driver? And like brought up kind of all these what if scenarios and like how you would have to think about the morality and like ethics of programming the self-driving car.
Yeah, you're programming morality into a vehicle.
Because you are going to have to make choices where it's like, if you're in this scenario, do you choose A or B, And so they have to like predetermine these kind of situations. And I had never thought of it that way, frankly. And I thought that was like, it really was very eye-opening.
Yeah. You'll
just keep in mind that the person making that decision is probably 20 years old.
I know
That's
that's part of the thing that they brought up, and they're like that's not fair to put it on one person. Even should it be a jury or something? It was a great talk. I'll try.
Well,
and
I mean,
find
there's
it.
other engineers and there's a PM and an EM as well, but
sure.
the point is,
but they're all 20 to 24, and they're all white males, and that's what
they're all tech bros, and there's no
And they protect
philosophy
they
students.
they protect their own first. I think this book brings up a lot of like really good discussion topics and discussion moments, which I hope we actually dive into on Thursday when we do our whiskey chat. I'm a little concerned well, I'm just going to leave because I know that some of the people who are in that group listen to this. So I'm just going to leave my concerns out because I don't want any of them to come to fruition. And I also don't want them to be self-fulfilled prophecies. So it's possible to glaze over some of these things under the that'll never happen. But I think it's worth a delve into an honest conversation about some of the key ideas and moralities and philosophy behind this stuff. And this is packaged really well to kind of begin those conversations. So The Passengers by John Mars. I think there's a series, and it's more of like an anthology style series. If you look it up and it says this is like book 2 of something. Oh yeah, it's the Dark Future series. This is Dark Future number 2. So there's another one that comes before this, but this is a standalone story. So if you see that, don't feel like you have to read whatever comes first. If you look this up and this sounds interesting enough for you to kind of to pick up the story, this is a standalone. So The Passengers by John Mars, 2 R's, and there'll be a link to it in our show notes.
I do believe the only correct scenario is everyone should die.
I was going to say kill everyone.
That's the only way to ensure
It's most fair.
it's most fair.
After you read Dungeon Crawler Carl, maybe you pick up this book, Patrick. Because
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good.
we're gonna get you reading. We're gonna get you reading.
There is no way. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. Is that fine, Andrew? Can I?
Yeah,
take this?
it's your turn.
All right,
You
I'm
and
gonna
your
tell you
nat
a
20.
bit about my nat 20, and I'm actually gonna bring something that's a bit art, a bit technology, a bit architecture. Kind of rolling it all together. I like to pick these categories that I can really use for anything, so I never have
smorgasbord
to.
Of topics.
I never have to actually commit to any one category. I'm going to talk about Chris Hytha. It's hythacg.com, Hytha. But we're also going to look at some of his other stuff. I was first introduced to Chris because he owns a row home, an 1875 row home in Philadelphia. But Chris actually started as a visual artist. He's had several series. Cityscapes, stoplights, row homes, and then also high rises. I'm going to show you part of the row homes, his row homes project. Now, to be clear, these are all composites, but what he actually does is he takes pictures of row homes, he composites in the surroundings, and then he removes a lot of like the connections and the things that would obscure them. And then he does apply a very distinct and clearly non-natural visual aesthetic
Wes
to it.
Anderson-y filter.
Yeah, maybe so.
Is
Maybe
it like
so.
AI Wes Anderson or something?
Yes. And so again, you can everything around this is fake, but the building itself and the features of the building, these do exist.
So those are actual photographs that are comped into. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes that way more impressive.
Yes, exactly. They're actual photographs. And so this series, I think, is 100 row homes.
Wait, go back. Was that a pencil?
Which
That
one?
house
Yeah,
was turned into a
that's
pencil.
That's
The
the
turret.
The turret, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun.
And so this is, again, row homes. I think there's like 100 of these. There is actually a gallery that's been up of this recently, and I believe he travels around and does book signings. He also, I'll just real quick show you, after adding a drone to his fleet, he then started doing his high-rise series,
Oh, that's
which is
cool.
That's
very
beautiful.
similarly in terms of like distinct aesthetic, these composite photographs, but actual drone photographs of high-rises. And so you
That's
can
in
find
Milwaukee.
Those are beautiful.
this, and
That
you can
clock
find
tower
all
is
this
100%
again.
in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, I mean, again,
Yeah.
they're actual places. Right?
Yeah,
Even
I
though-
just recognize it.
even though they do kind of look like AI artwork at times, they're real places, and it's digital art he did.
Because it's all HDR. That's why.
Well,
it
it's
just feels so-
it's also like the way that it is like photos, combined together. So there's just like, and it's not trying to hide that completely. So
No.
Yeah,
No.
and
It's
so
hyper-realistic.
after-
it's kind of collaged in a funky way. Like I don't know how else to describe it.
completely. So after taking pictures of all these, and then also he himself, I believe, grew up in a row home, or his parents owned different row homes throughout their years. He decided to buy his own. So he bought 1875 row home in Philadelphia, and his goal, it wasn't meant to necessarily be like a public project. The goal was to purchase it and then get something that needed some work. He wanted something that he could actually fix up, and that would stretch some of those skills. But what he unwittingly did is he bought a row home that had very extensive termite damage.
Oh no.
He waived an inspection. He buys the house, gets in, and realized there is not like a board of wood left in the house that has not been chewed through, which means he ends up having to go through and rip everything out. The house, he explains, is kind of divided into 3 sections. 2 of the sections had to be completely demolished and then start rebuilding the house. He posted a YouTube video about this, and maybe because it was such a disaster, it got like 500,000 views. And that turned into him posting that progress on YouTube. So every Monday he drops a new update video. And the videos are anywhere from like 10 minutes to 20 minutes. They're not terribly long, but he posts a new update of his row home renovation. He's 10 months in now. At this point, he has siding on the outside. He has a roof on top. Funny enough, in the last video, found some additional termites in one of the few pieces of the structure he did not replace. And so now
Damn,
he's
that
dealing with that.
sucks.
And so there is this weird thing
Not
of...
a very thorough looker.
Well, no, you should watch the videos because he's spent a lot of money so far on the house. And he goes into that too. He does very clear like breakdowns. But as he started working on the home, he wanted to be part of the project because he wanted to do as much of the work as he can. Philadelphia has very strict laws about every site has to have like a licensed GC that's GC, is that the term, that's running it, but
CG?
that's
Or
in
general
charge of the site.
contractor. Yeah.
And so he ended up just getting his license. He like got all the books and took the tests and got his license.
Wow.
So he is the one in charge of his project. And it's been a fascinating journey. Again, because the home was such a disaster, that has launched him into this YouTube creation, which is now in part funding the work on the home. He said if he was only renovating the home at this point, it would be like a complete losing scenario. It's costing absolutely more money than it's worth. But because it's offset by views and now sponsorships and partnerships, etc., it's paying for that, and also it allows him to gain this experience because he's actually now a licensed person that's leading this job site and also doing work where he can. So it's just fascinating to see how this digital artist has thrown so much of himself and his effort into this construction project. And it's also to see his attention to detail. You can imagine for someone that produces this level of artwork, the attention to detail they have, but doing that through like the lens of construction, I think it's a really, really interesting dynamic. And I find it to be a fascinating watch. And so you can link to his YouTube channel from his website, or you can go to Chris Hytha. It's at Chris Hytha on YouTube. But again, every Monday, without fail, he drops a new video, and they are a lot of they're so fascinating, but they're also, I think, a lot of fun. I do think I'll have to. I should buy the book. I haven't bought the book. I was trying to check real quick. I was like scrubbing through. I think he has like a 6-month recap video somewhere in here, but as I'm saying that, I'm not seeing it, so I may have just completely made that up at this point. But even so, just jump in and watch the first video. He has the first video is I bought a 100-year-old row home. It's 17 minutes long. Just jump in and watch that video, and if you get hooked, maybe keep watching.
How
maybe
did
start
you
watching
like
every
find
Monday,
this?
So I already watch some construction and renovation stuff, so this just fell in my feed through that. The correct answer is
Algorithm.
say what?
Algorithm.
The algorithm, yeah.
The algorithm, yeah. There's this show called Grand Designs, which is originally, I think, from the UK. It's now spread to a bunch of other countries, and it's specifically about renovations. And these renovations can take anywhere from 6 months to like 6 years. But they're typically very unique renovations. Some of them are really expensive.
Like castles being turned into homes or Airbnbs or hotels. Yeah.
Well, no, it is like renovating a castle, and there's one where it's a
I
house
just watched
made.
that one with Cooper.
Oh yeah, there's one where it's like a house made completely out of like mud and straw, and there's a term for that building technique, and it's very
Little
like
pigs.
interesting things.
It's
like
called
that. So
OG.
So I've watched that for several years now. I think that show has like 20. They're on season 25 or something. But my guess is that has fed into like sending me this type of content as well. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Have you ever watched John and Kate +8?
I have.
Because I think they remodeled their house at one point.
I think they
would
got.
love that show.
Remember?
I think they
It's a
got
blur.
divorced because it was like Kate and like John +8, and then
It was Kate, and then John was there, and then there were 8 others.
Well,
Yeah.
they had Kate +8, I think, afterwards.
Mm.
yeah.
It was
correctly.
Kate +8, and then John also in a parentheses.
They were really not great at the end. That was a crazy show. I stopped watching after they got divorced, or like right before they got divorced. 'Cause I was like, this is awkward.
You know what I would love to do? I would love to do just a one-off episode where we throw it back to a certain time frame, like maybe 1998 or 1999,
Early
and we do
2000s,
the episode as if the things that are coming out that we don't know anything about them, and we're pitching them as if we're excited about these things and
Yeah.
we have no information about it. I would love
That
to
would
see
be
what would come out.
hilarious,
That'd
yeah.
be a fun. That'd be a
Easy.
fun like.
So anyway,
episode to do.
Chris Haitha, if
Page
any of
master.
those things sound interesting, then check him out. His YouTube, or if you just want to see the photography, check out the photography. This is going to sound odd. I don't know how to express what I'm about to express. But when I was in high school, you know, I would visit a lot of Barnes and Nobles. There's not a lot of places to hang out when you don't have money.
It was
And
Borders back then.
Borders, I would also visit Borders, but the Borders was up in Athens.
Walden Books.
See, I had the opposite. Yeah, Walden Books
we
for
had
sure.
what was the name of ours we had? It was called...
Books a Million.
Half price books.
No. I'm trying to remember what the name of the local one was, but
Books,
I can't remember the name of the
books.
local one. No, it wasn't that either. But anyway, the point is bookstores, right? The point is like you couldn't afford to go somewhere, and so because you couldn't afford it, you go to a bookstore, pick something off the shelf, and just sit and look at stuff,
And
right?
you couldn't afford
Is
to
that
buy
what you
it
do
either.
with
You
books?
just you would just look
Exactly.
at
That's
the
why you don't like reading. You
Yeah,
don't-
because it reminds him of being poor.
I just associate it. I associate
You just
it with
stare at the book and look at it and hope that you kind of absorb what it says. You don't actually read it.
It's triggering for him.
Anyway, his art just, I guess it reminds me of art, is what I'm trying to say. It reminds.
Yeah, you're right. You haven't figured out how you're gonna say what you're trying to say.
I haven't figured out what I'm
We're
trying to
also
say. what
ripping
I'm
him
trying to
apart.
say. It doesn't
This
matter.
art reminds
So
me
anyway,
of art.
here's a hold on.
Reading.
You're saying that you would never, when you were in high school or college, go sit at a bookstore, look at a magazine off the shelf, and then go home and not buy it.
Oh, yeah, that's how I read
100%.
Akira, 'cause I
But it
could
was
not
never
afford those
It
books.
wasn't because I couldn't afford to go places. It was just that was the thing that I wanted to do at that particular
Why else
time.
would you go there?
I don't know, because it's
I
interesting.
also listen to
go,
music and stuff.
Also, let's not pretend
yeah.
like we didn't seek out the art and photography section to just see some news.
Sure.
That was also a pretty heavy drive.
I wanna be
That's
clear
really
that if I
funny
could
because I
afford it to
definitely
do
remember
anything
looking up the
else, I
like
would've.
movie books so I could like see all the like art, you know, like the making of movies books. That was the stuff that I would always go
Yeah.
for too.
I just looked up cheat codes.
Yeah.
Remember that you get the video game walkthrough books.
Oh yeah, I would go.
Remember
I
Game Genie?
Yes, yes, I remember Game Genie for sure. Okay,
They had one of those at the Nintendo Museum, and I had not thought about that in like so long. I was like, literally just seeing this brings back so many memories. Like the book that you had to have of all the codes and everything.
Yeah.
Like
I would have a game at home. We would stop at a bookstore. I would try to absorb as much information as I could from the walkthrough where I was like stuck or like some hidden
Yeah,
something.
you couldn't take a picture with your cell phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do that. There were times I wrote things down to take home with me. To
look
then
at you learning.
Crazy. I miss cheat codes.
Yeah,
They
that
still
was fun.
exist. There's still cheat codes out there.
I think it's called modding now.
Yeah, you mod it. All right, let's roll our dice to find out what we're talking about next time.
All right, I gotta 14. So that is art again.
15.
I got a double deuce.
15 is going to be front page.
And I
You
got
got two?
past.
And I got a 2, yeah.
Trivia.
I got present trivia. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
I got art 4, so out.
It's gonna be about Sinners and Thunderbolts. So you better
Sweet.
better
Study up.
better study up,
Recent
Patrick.
movies that have just came out.
Okay.
Will Jurassic World be out by then?
I don't know. Will it? Jurassic World
Comes out
Rebirth.
like right at the beginning of next month.
I found out that Beck has only seen the very first Jurassic Park and not seen any
Wait,
other
who?
ones since. My wife, Becca.
Oh, I mean, honestly, that is the best one. So it only goes downhill from there.
Okay, you can find show notes and links to all the stuff we talked about in this episode over at mof1.network. While you're there, you can see a whole bunch of other episodes. Don't miss out on our hot seat episodes, like Patrick talked about at the beginning of this episode. We're only 2 in so far. We'll be releasing those 2 a week for
Actually, as of today, we're 3 in.
Oh, yes. If you're listening to this on release day, then yes, we're 3 in. If you're listening to this weeks later, who knows how many we're in? We can't be responsible for the time frame. But there's a bunch of them. I think we have like 20 or 22 of them. So they'll be releasing pretty regularly for the next several weeks. So
2 per week.
give those a gander because they are a lot of fun. And the people we talked with, not only are they fun, but they're talented and they've got some fun answers to some cool questions. So, what else? So we're on social media. We're at MF1 Podcast all over the place. You can join us in our Slack channel where there's conversations going on all the time. Someone popped in today, we haven't seen in a minute, and they're chatting with us about stuff. And so you can get advice, you can get feedback on things, you can just discuss the current films or TV shows that you're watching. There's lots of different channels inside of Slack. So go to our website and hit the little Slack icon. It's that little hashtag logo, and join the conversation in there. And I think that's it. Rate and review the show, like it, share it. I mean, more than anything, you don't listen to us, but share the show, like send it out, post it on your socials and say, hey, this was fun. Give this a listen. Maybe just text somebody an episode that you think we talked about, something that would be pertinent to them. Whatever it is, share it with people. Let people know that you're listening and that you enjoy us at least some of the time. You can't like us all the time, and that's to be expected.
That's fair.
We don't even like us all of the time.
Yeah, I understand.
And, well, Lauren, you agreed too hard with that, and that was a test. You failed. That was a trap. You walked right into it. But join us in a couple of weeks when we come back. But until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
Hey, everybody, just peace out.
Adios.
Bye. I was excited to do my and you didn't let us do it.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh.
Here we go. Ready? Here we
okay.
go.
Not doing
I'm
it.
at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's.
You
I'm
can't
at
have
Not
music
Cool Co.
playing. This doesn't work.
And Patrick, where do people find you on the internet?
At shit.
Yeah, totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Thank you. You're
I feel
welcome.
like at shit, which could be like the new eat shit.
Yeah.
It was like Bookstone, not Brookstone.
Brookstone.
Oh,
There you
Is
Brookstone.
it-
No.
That's not
No.
books though.
But
Well,
there is
Walden-
no. But
Walden
I'm saying there
Books.
was a book one that sounded. There was a book one that sounded like that. and I
Well, you
just-
said it's
I'm-
your local bookstore, so I don't think we're gonna just guess it.
Well,
Was
as
it
a
in the
kid,
mall?
everything's your local store because you don't know what's a chain and what's not.
I
Right,
know.
yeah,
I had
but, like,
someone in high school tell me about a local place they ate at. They were so excited about best food they'd ever
it was a
had, and it
Chili's?
was, it was like that. Yeah, they just named some chain that. Anyway,
That
it
is
wasn't
so funny.
Chili's. It was First Watch, is what they were actually talking.
Oh my gosh,
That's
that's
funny.
funny. My dad
Yeah.
loves First Watch.
does
Like,
have
I go there at least
local
twice if I visit
restaurant
him.
vibes though. Like it's
Yeah.
there's nothing about that feels franchised. It like
Yeah, but it
disturbingly so.
massively is.
Like it's just bad. Like it's bad, right? But it's just bad enough branding that it feels
Yeah.
like local.
Some of their bread
it's
products
funny.
really are fine.
Oh,
They're
it's-
totally passed.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's
not talking
good.
about their
It's-
food
it's not
quality. I'm
bad.
talking about
It's
their.
just
I'm talking
like-
about their branding. That's all I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
I don't think it's bad, but it's also just like not outstanding. You know,
If you stuck with us,
like I like eating there.
If you
We're
stuck
talking
with
about
us for
Bag
the last
Basket.
hour and
Bag
45
Basket?
minutes to hear our hot take on First Watch,
On First
then
Watch.
you are You're a real one, everybody, and we thank you for that.
Yes. That was
I
fun.
thought this was related to First Watch.
Yeah, first watch, calling it back.
Okay, we're gonna get out of here, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna start
Time to
waiting.
go. Bye. I'm gonna go watch Game Changer.
Bye, everybody.
She stayed and